This week, everyone's talking about the Gadsden flag after a school in Colorado Springs tried to kick out this 12-year-old called Jaiden for wearing it on his backpack. Well, because of the outrage this caused, and rightly so, this blew up in the school district's face and they backed off, so great job internet. But not to be a party pooper, I'm going to poop on this party just a tiny bit because I think we're also missing the big picture. The fact is, we're looking at the culture war way too simply. Yes, it's great we're fighting the culture war, but what does that really mean? Most of the time, we're fighting little culture war battles, and we're being really successful. Think about Bud Light or Target. But sometimes, people are happy to win a battle, but forget about the war. In the case of Jaiden, the battle was over his right to wear the Gadsden flag patch. The war is over American history. So that's why we can't just be happy with the school district backing down. We have to take control of the narrative and defend history itself. Now, the history of the Gadsden flag is clear. It's named after its designer, Christopher Gadsden, who was a brigadier general in the Continental Army and a South Carolina delegate to the Continental Congress. He designed the flag in 1775 during the American Revolution, and it was later adopted as the personal flag of the Commander-in-Chief of the Continental Navy. The Continental Marines also flew the flag in the early years of the war. The rattlesnake was used as a symbol of the unity of the 13 colonies, and had been used before by other figures including Benjamin Franklin. The purpose of the flag was to warn against the violation of American liberties. Time after time, it's been shown that the Gadsden flag is not racist. Instead, it's a symbol of unity in the face of tyranny. Then why is it so controversial?
No one knows what it means, but it's provocative.
No, it's not.
It gets the people going.
Well, the problem with our society is that too many people have no respect or interest in the past. Everything in the past is dumb, and everything now is enlightened. What makes matters worse is that people simply accept what they're told about America's own history. Sometimes it feels like the less true it is, the more it's celebrated, like the 1619 Project, especially if it helps push the narrative that the United States is uniquely evil. And there are other problems which make this even more complicated when it comes to symbols like the Gadsden flag. The first is that history is taken to make everything somehow yours. What do I mean by this? Well, it's the idea that the history of the country or parts of its history only exist to help you get what you want now. This applies to the mainstream, but it's really damaging when it applies to the fringes. The Gadsden flag has been used as a symbol across the mainstream by libertarian groups, right-wing groups, left-wing groups. But it's also been used by fringe and extremist groups. Back in 2014, for example, the perpetrators of a shooting in Las Vegas, who killed 2 police officers and a civilian, draped the body of one of the murdered officers in a Gadsden flag. And then there are people who flew the Gadsden flag during the riots on January 6th, and next to other flags like the Confederate flag and the Nazi flag in Charlottesville. In all cases, the Gadsden flag is used as a symbol of liberty, depending on each person's definition of liberty. They can't all be right, so who decides what's right? And in many ways, it's also been diluted by its use on screen, again to promote some form of liberty. It's shown in Rocky IV, The Simpsons, Parks and Rec. So this leaves one question: what does the Gadsden flag represent? If you care about history, it represents what it was designed to represent. But our society also has an identity problem, and it manifests in the idea that there is no such thing as objective truth. You are what you think you are, regardless of reality, and the world around you must conform. And this is spread into our symbols, our language, and our history. People see what they want to see, and reality must change to fit what they see. And even worse, there is no consistent standard. The use of these symbols and words are judged as good or bad, depending on the assumptions, fair or unfair, of the people using them. Here's one example. The Gadsden flag appeared on HBO's The Last of Us in the house of Nick Offerman's character. The character, Bill, is gay, and gay people can't be racist according to intersectionality, so no one called it racist or bigoted or hateful. Then there's Jaiden, an openly conservative 12-year-old boy, who walks into his school with the same flag on his backpack, and they try to kick him out because of the flag's non-existent links with racism and slavery. Why? The flag is the same. The difference is how the people using the flag are judged. But everything is backwards. People are forgetting or even ignoring the meaning of the flag and using their subjective judgment of the people using the flag to then judge the flag. But when we know the flag isn't racist and we know the history behind the flag, why are we judging the flag at all? Well, the answer is simple. This is all about fighting for control of history. In this case, American history. Because if you have control of what is true and what is not, then you have control of everything. And for the left, everything in our world, words, symbols, flags, is just a tool for them to get what they want. The Gadsden flag is no different. If it's being used by their friends, like the rainbow version of the Gadsden flag, then it's good. If it's being used to promote gun rights or individual liberty against government collectivism, it's bad. That's the real reason why they try to throw Jaiden out of school. That's the real reason they cherry-pick only extreme usages of the flag to change its meaning. That's why it's racist when it needs to be. Because American history, rooted in individual liberty and the rejection of tyranny, is the threat. When you understand that, everything else makes sense.